Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired cook from the northeast of England in the UK, and welcome to another one of my pie videos. And in this one I'll be making this stunning corned beef and potato pie. Now I'll be using my homemade and home cured corned beef, but by all means you can simply use canned corned beef instead. I will be posting a video very soon on how to make your own canned style corned beef at home. It's extremely easy to make. You can see the ingredients list and full written method for this recipe on the recipe page on the channel's website, and the link to that page and lots more is in the description box under the video. Just find and click on the word more, and that'll give you access to all the relative links for this video, including our website store products. Okay, let's get on with today's recipe. I'll start by getting the potatoes on to boil. Make sure you use a variety of potato that's good for mashing. Morris Piper is a good choice if you're in the UK. Just do a little research for good mashers where you live. Once peeled, cut them into medium-sized pieces like these. Give them a good wash in cold water. Add just enough water to cover them. Don't add any salt at this stage. Now get them onto the heat. Once they start to boil, set your timer for 20 minutes. Okay, while the potatoes are boiling, I'll make the pastry. On to making the pastry. By far the best way to make short crust pastry is to use a food processor. It's very quick and easy, but more importantly, it keeps all the ingredients cold, which is essential when making short crust pastry. If you don't have a processor, you can mix the ingredients by hand, but do this as quickly as possible. First, add the flour. Next to go in is the fats. In this case, I'm using butter and lard. If you don't use or like lard, as it is a pork product, you can use a solid vegetable fat instead. Now you can add the salt. Okay, pulse the machine for about 40 seconds. And if you are making this by hand, rub the ingredients together with your fingers. Keep going until you have a fine breadcrumb or sandy consistency. Like I said, about 40-45 seconds in the machine, and this will take a little longer if you're making it by hand. Now set the machine away and slowly trickle in the cold water. And if you are doing it by hand, just cut it together with a dinner knife. And a very quick mention to the channel's Patreon members and supporters. I'll be giving the latest list a shout out a little later in the video. Once the pastry comes together and starts rolling around the bowl, it's done. Now very carefully get it out of the machine and watch your fingers on those blades. You should now have approximately 560 grams, that's 20 ounces of pastry. So divide it into two pieces. 310 grams or 11 ounces for the base of the pie and 250 grams or 9 ounces for the lid of the pie. Now get them wrapped in cling film, and I use biodegradable, and into the fridge for at least 30 minutes before using them. Right, on to making the filling for this delicious corned beef pie. And like I said in the intro, I'll be using my own homemade canned style corned beef in this recipe. And I will show you in a separate video, which will be coming out shortly after this one, on how to make this amazing canned corned beef, or I should say canned style corned beef. But for now you can use the bought one. This canned corned beef used to be an inexpensive alternative to fresh meat back in the day, but now it's so expensive, and to be honest, it's becoming a bit of a luxury these days. You'll also need about 85 grams or 3 ounces of finely diced spring or green onions. Once the time's up on the potatoes, and to test that they're done and ready to mash, they should be easily pierced with a fork. Mine are ready to go, so I'll get them completely drained. Once drained, mash until they're nice and fluffy. Don't add any salt or butter. There's plenty of fat and salt already in the corned beef. Now add the onions and corned beef to the hot potatoes. And the traditional spice for corned beef pie is lots and lots of ground white pepper. Now, using a spatula, gradually blend the whole lot together. And with the potatoes still quite hot, these ingredients should mix together quite easily. Even though we've probably made thousands of these pies at work, the aroma of these few ingredients still takes me right back to my childhood, way back in the early 60s. Enough reminiscing. Once you have it mixed, cover the pan and allow it to cool. I'm transferring mine to a bowl for filming purposes. And yet another great use for our dough-proofing shower caps. Right, on to rolling out the pastry. And this is the pie tin I'll be using in this recipe. We've managed to get hold of a limited number of these fantastic loose-based fluted pie tins, so if you want one, get your order in quick. And I've greased this one with a little butter. For rolling the pastry out, I'll be using our very own adjustable stainless steel rolling pin, and these are available on the website. These fantastic rolling pins with different size spaces take all of the guesswork out of rolling your pastry out evenly and to the exact thickness that you require. And for this recipe, I'll be using the 3mm or 1/8 pastry spacer. If your pastry has been chilling for more than 30 minutes, take it out of the fridge 15 minutes before attempting to roll it. Start by dusting the bench with flour. Get the larger of the two pastry discs onto the floured bench and dust it with flour too. Now roll the pastry out into a large circle as shown. Remember, the pastry has to be bigger than the tin that you're using. Roll it backwards and forwards in straight lines and turn the pastry 90 degrees at a time. This should keep it reasonably round. If you have got one of these pins, keep rolling until the guides hit the bench. Then you should have the perfect size and the perfect thickness for this recipe. Use your tin as a guide for the size that you need. And there you go, perfect. You simply can't go wrong with these rolling pins. Once your pastry is big enough, dust it and roll it onto the pin. Now carefully line it up and unroll it onto the tin. Now gently manipulate the pastry into the tin. Use a spare piece of pastry to push it right down into the corners where the sides meet the base. Once the pastry's in and you're happy with it, you can set it aside while you roll out the top pastry for the pie. Keep dusting the bench and the pastry as you go. Once again, use the tin to check the size. When you're happy with it, roll that onto the pin too, then have a clean up. Don't forget you can reuse the dusting flour. Once you're done with it, you can scrape it back into your dusting bowl. Time to make up the egg wash. Crack a small egg into a container. Now add a dash of milk. And when I say a dash of milk, it's literally a teaspoonful, about 6 milliliters. Give it a good whisk until it's loose and nice and runny. Before going any further, preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius, that's 340 Fahrenheit, or gas mark 3. Get your pastry base and using a fork, prick a few holes in it. This is called docking the pastry. Docking prevents the pastry from bulging up when it's baking. Okay, get your now cooled filling and start spooning it into the pastry case. Keep going until the base is full. Then, using a fork, even it all out. Try to dome it so the middle is slightly higher than the edges, a bit like an upside down saucer. Right, that's the filling in. We can now add the lid to the pie. Okay, get your egg wash and brush it all around the lip of the pastry. Now unroll the lid of the pastry over the filling. Gently press down the edges with the palm of your hands. Now using your forefingers and thumbs, crimp all the way around the edge of the pie as shown. Once that's done, carefully trim the excess pastry off like so. Once you have it trimmed, crimp around the pie edges again to tidy it all up. And if you wouldn't mind guys, if you found the video useful and enjoyable, can you give the video a like by hitting the thumbs up? It really helps the channel tremendously. Now give the top a good coat of the egg wash and then cut a few vent holes. At this point you can call it done, but I like to add a few embellishments or decorations using any spare pastry that's left. If you do go this extra mile, stick the spare rolled pastry in the freezer for 5 minutes first. It makes it so much easier to cut and shape using your bench scraper. Now give those shapes a good coat of the egg wash too. And there's a practical reason for adding these shapes too. In our work kitchens it made it so much easier for me to portion the pie evenly. And that's it, a work of art. Now get it into the preheated oven and set your timer for 45 minutes. With Christmas approaching fast, here's a quick word about my 4 recipe books. These carefully designed books with most recipes linked to the corresponding recipe on video via QR codes make fantastic presents. So to avoid the holiday rush, get your orders in early. The link for the books and all of the other equipment I used in my recipes are in the description box under the video. And thanks in advance for supporting the channel guys. Okay, time's up on this amazing pie. And it's looking tremendous. A fantastic golden brown colour and it looks so appetizing. And the aroma this thing is kicking out is mouth-watering. Can't do anything with it at the minute, it's far too hot. I let it relax on the wire rack for 10 minutes before I get it out of the tin. And when I come back I'll cut a slice off and let you see what it's like on the inside. Okay, it's still quite hot, but cool enough to get it out of the tin. Right, I'll carefully cut a slice. And once again, the aroma of the corned beef filling and white pepper is outstanding. True comfort food. And doesn't that look amazing? So appetizing. Time for a bite. And that is so delicious. My homemade corned beef is so much meatier than bought. Hope you're looking forward to that homemade canned corned beef video, and that'll be coming very soon. And yes, a huge thumbs up for this wonderful heartwarming pie. And as mentioned earlier in the video, here is the latest list of my Patreon, PayPal and Super Thank You button supporters. And they are Paul Dancy, Sharon Horner, Tim Jones, Judy Vollmer, Darrell Elder 1352, Jens K 3250 and Lavinia Rawlinson. Thanks very much guys, I really do appreciate all that you do in supporting the channel. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos and playlists that you may want to watch. So until the next time, be safe in your kitchen and bye for now.